Have you ever looked at your mom or dad, or maybe your grandfather who used to lift you up like you weighed nothing, and thought, they're not as strong as they used to be? Maybe it hit you during something small. Like when your grandmother hesitated before standing up from the couch, or when your father needed help lifting a bag of groceries he used to carry with ease. Maybe it was when they stopped walking as far, or as fast. Or that moment they asked for help with something they'd never asked for help with before. And maybe, just maybe, you told yourself, well, that's just old age. But what if I told you, it's not just old age? What if I told you there's something quietly happening inside their body, something that creeps in over the years, stealing strength, shrinking muscles, and robbing them of independence, and most people don't even realize it's happening until it's almost too late. It's called sarcopenia. And it's not just medical jargon. It's real. It's serious. And it affects millions of seniors, sometimes even those in their late 50s. But the good news? There's hope. And it starts with something incredibly simple, one powerful food. Yes. One food, rich in a very specific nutrient, can actually help reverse some of that muscle loss. Not just slow it down. Not just mask the problem. Reverse it. And no, we're not talking about expensive supplements, complicated diets, or hours at the gym. This is about everyday care. Real-life choices. The kind of changes you can make, if you know what to look for. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what sarcopenia really is and how it hides in plain sight, why so many families miss the signs until it's too late, and most importantly, the number one food every senior should be eating more of if they want to regain strength, energy, and confidence in their body again. Plus, I'll show you how to add it into meals easily, even for picky eaters. We'll also bust a few myths you've probably heard, and I'll give you simple, practical tips that make a real difference. But before we dive in, I want to ask you something real. Do you believe seniors deserve to age with strength, dignity, and freedom? Because I do. And if you do too, comment "I'm here" below. Let's build a community of caregivers, loved ones, and seniors who refuse to let aging mean weakness. And hey, subscribe to Seniors Care if you want more videos like this. Videos that don't just talk at you, but walk with you through the real challenges of elder care and health. Now, let's talk about the food that just might change everything. Now, let's talk about what this condition really is. Because until we name the problem, we can't fight it. It's called sarcopenia. Sounds like a complicated word, right? But it's not. It simply means loss of muscle due to aging. Let me tell you a quick story. Mr. Thomas was a retired schoolteacher. Warm, sharp, witty. He was the kind of man who never missed his morning walk, rain or shine. But last year, things started to change. First, he paused halfway up the stairs, catching his breath. Then, he stopped walking altogether. And one day, something simple, a cereal box on the top shelf, slipped from his hands. His daughter said, "He's just tired." But what was really happening was sarcopenia. Here's what most people don't know: after age 50, your muscles start shrinking, quietly, slowly. About 1 to 2% every single year. That may not sound like much, but over time, it adds up. By 70, some people have lost nearly 30% of their muscle mass. And that's not just about looking thinner, it's about strength, balance, movement, and yes, even survival. Now, here's the part that hurts to hear: families see this happening and they shrug. They say, it's just part of aging. Or they blame arthritis, or the weather, or just being a little tired today. But when you ignore sarcopenia, it doesn't go away. It gets worse. And what follows? Falls. Broken hips. Wheelchairs. And often, a loss of independence that never comes back. But here's the good news: it can be fought. And the sooner you spot it, the sooner you can slow it down, or even begin to reverse it. So how do you know if it's happening? Start paying attention. Has your loved one stopped going on walks they used to enjoy? Do they hesitate before getting up from a chair? Are they avoiding stairs or asking for help with basic tasks they once did easily? These little changes, they're not nothing. They're everything. Write them down. Notice the pattern. That's your first step. Awareness. Because once you see it, once you name it, you can start fighting it. And believe it or not, the fight begins with something as simple as food. Let's talk about protein. Sarah is a full-time caregiver to her father, a man who used to build things with his hands. One day, a nutritionist told her, at his age, he doesn't need that much protein. So she listened. She started serving him lighter meals. Fewer meats. More toast and juice. Less effort. Within months, his strength dropped. He struggled to rise from his recliner. He fell, twice. What changed? His muscles weren't getting what they needed to survive. Here's the truth, protein is the raw material for muscle. Without enough of it, the body simply cannot hold on to its strength. Now, you might be surprised to hear this, but seniors actually need more protein than younger adults. Why? Because as we age, our bodies become less efficient at using the protein we eat. It's like trying to fill a leaking bucket, you've got to pour in a little more just to stay full. Experts recommend up to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight for older adults. That means if your mom weighs 60 kilograms, she might need as much as 72 grams of protein per day. Not in one big steak, but spread out, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Consistently. Every day. But here's where many get it wrong. They worry, isn't too much protein bad for the kidneys? The short answer. Not unless there's already kidney disease. In a healthy senior, protein isn't the enemy, it's the lifeline. So where do you start? Start simple. Boiled eggs in the morning. A scoop of Greek yogurt with fruit. Beans in a soup. Lentils, chicken, fish. You don't need to reinvent the kitchen. You just need to rethink the plate. And soon, we'll talk about one specific food, the one I call the powerhouse, that makes all the difference. It's rich in a key nutrient called leucine, and it's quietly changing how we care for aging muscles. But first, pause for a second. Ask yourself, what did Dad eat for breakfast today? Did Mom have enough protein in her meals this week? It's never too late to start asking the right questions. And now, let's talk about the food that might just help you answer them, with strength, hope, and muscle. Let's talk about something remarkable. In Okinawa, Japan, where some of the world's longest living people reside, there's a quiet secret to their strength. It's not just in what they do, it's in what they eat. Elders there remain active, strong, and independent well into their 80s and 90s. And while their culture and lifestyle play a role, researchers found something fascinating in their diet. A food rich in a special amino acid called leucine. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Leucine isn't just any nutrient. It's part of a group called branched-chain amino acids. But more importantly, leucine is the trigger that tells your body, hey, it's time to build muscle. It flips the switch on something called muscle protein synthesis. Your body's way of repairing and growing muscle tissue. And when you're older, that switch gets harder to flip. So you need more of the right kind of fuel to make it happen. Now here comes the best part. You don't need to fly to Japan. You don't need a prescription. And you don't need expensive powders. You just need to pick up a tub of cottage cheese. That's right, cottage cheese. It's rich in leucine. It's easy to digest. And it's something many of our elders already enjoy. Or can grow to enjoy again. If dairy's not an option, don't worry. There's tempeh, a plant-based protein made from fermented soybeans. It's gentle on the stomach, high in leucine, and packed with fiber too. And if you're wondering whether food is really enough, here's something to consider. Some believe protein powders are better because they're quick. But whole foods like cottage cheese bring more to the table, literally. You're not just getting leucine. You're getting calcium for bones, vitamin B12 for nerves, and a sense of real nourishment. So here's what you can do starting tomorrow. Add a scoop of cottage cheese to breakfast, blend it into a fruit smoothie, serve it on whole grain toast, or offer a spoonful alongside dinner. And for the dairy-free seniors in your life, tempeh, lentils, black beans, and chickpeas are all great sources too. You don't have to force a big change. You just have to start, small and consistent. But here's the thing. Nutrients don't work in isolation. Even the best food needs the right timing to make the most impact. Let's talk about when and how to eat for real muscle gains. James is 72. For months, he took protein supplements faithfully. He drank his shake in the evening, after dinner. And yet, he kept feeling tired, weak, frustrated. Until a dietitian pointed out one simple truth: it's not just about what you eat, it's when. See, after you eat, your body becomes more receptive. That's when muscle protein synthesis kicks into gear. So if you spread protein evenly throughout the day, you give your body multiple chances to grow and repair. But here's the mistake many people make, especially seniors. They skip protein at breakfast. Toast. Coffee. Maybe some fruit. No protein. No muscle recovery. And the rest of the day, they're playing catch-up. What your loved one needs is this: 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal. That's a target, not a challenge. Here's an example. Scrambled eggs with cottage cheese in the morning. Grilled chicken and vegetables at lunch. Lentil soup with whole grain bread at dinner. Simple. Balanced. Powerful. Because protein isn't a one-and-done nutrient. It's a daily rhythm. So, track it. Talk about it. Build a routine around it. But what happens when your loved one just doesn't want to eat? What if they say, "I'm not hungry," or "I'll eat later," or worse, "Nothing tastes good anymore"? That brings us to something every caregiver dreads. Appetite loss. Maria's mom used to love breakfast. She made pancakes every Saturday, just for fun. But one day, she started skipping meals. Claimed she was full. And when she did eat, it was barely a few bites. Maria thought it was pickiness. But deep down, something else was going on. See, as we age, our appetite changes. Hormones shift. Digestion slows. And medications can blunt taste, delay hunger, and even cause nausea. But here's the danger: loss of appetite leads to loss of nutrition. And loss of nutrition leads to, you guessed it, muscle loss. It's a silent spiral. Now, don't make the mistake many families do: pushing food. Pleading. Getting angry. That only makes eating feel like a chore. Instead, make meals gentle. Offer smoothies with fruits, nuts, and yes, a scoop of cottage cheese or tempeh. Keep meals colorful and inviting. Serve small portions on small plates. Eat together, even if it's quiet. Add a sprinkle of cinnamon, a drizzle of honey, things that rekindle the joy of food, because appetite isn't just about hunger. It's about connection, pleasure, routine. And with just a little patience, your loved one may rediscover that joy again. Now that you understand the signs, the nutrients, the timing, and how to work through even appetite loss, let's take a moment to reflect. It's hard, isn't it? Watching someone you love slowly struggle with things they once did so effortlessly. Carrying groceries, climbing stairs, even standing tall. You remember them as strong, as unstoppable. And now, you see them pause, hesitate, reach for your hand, not out of affection, but because they need the support. It's not just physical. It's emotional. Because when strength fades, confidence goes with it. And when they stop believing in their body, they start pulling back from life. You feel it, too. The quiet worry. The what-ifs. The helplessness. You wonder, is this just how it goes? You try not to cry when you see them sitting more, doing less, shrinking into the background of their own life. But listen closely, this isn't the end of the story. Not even close. Because this isn't about fear. It's about hope. It's about recognizing that sarcopenia doesn't have to write the next chapter. Not if you take action now. One food. That's where it starts. Just one food, rich in leucine. Simple, real, affordable. Not a miracle. Not magic. Just muscle science. Wrapped in something you can pick up at your local store. And once you know that, you can begin again. You can build breakfast around protein. You can serve a meal not just for fullness, but for strength. You can help them stand taller. Literally and emotionally. So I want you to do something today. Not tomorrow. Today. Go to the pantry. Check the fridge. Look at what's being served at breakfast. Is there protein? Is there a plan? You don't need to change everything. Just take that first step. Because aging doesn't mean giving up. It means adapting, with knowledge, with grace, and with love. And when you adapt, when you learn, when you act, you give your parent, your partner, your grandparent, a second chance. A second wind. Because behind every meal, behind every effort to nourish them well, you're saying, I see you. I love you. And I'm not giving up on you. You're giving them more than nutrients. You're giving them dignity. Freedom. Another morning of standing up without help. Another walk. Another laugh. Another moment of not just being alive, but feeling alive. And that's what this is all about. You're not just feeding a body. You're feeding hope. And hope, my friend, that changes everything. Let's take a moment to pull it all together. Today, we uncovered something many people never even hear about until it's too late: sarcopenia, the quiet thief of strength in older adults. We talked about how it begins, subtle, slow, and easily mistaken for just getting old. We explored how protein, especially in higher amounts than most seniors are getting, becomes a powerful tool to fight back. Then we introduced you to leucine. That key nutrient that sparks muscle growth, and the foods that carry it, like cottage cheese and tempeh. We walked through meal timing, how spreading protein throughout the day is like giving the body fuel it can actually use. And we faced the emotional challenge of appetite loss, with gentle, practical ways to bring nourishment back into the picture, through connection, creativity, and care. But more than anything, we reminded ourselves that aging isn't a decline, it's a transition. One that can still be strong, joyful, and full of life when we nourish it properly. Now, I want to hear from you. What signs of muscle loss have you noticed in your loved ones, or maybe even in yourself? Is it fatigue? Loss of grip strength? A change in posture? Share your story in the comments. Not just for me, but for someone else who may be scrolling and needs to know they're not alone. Let's learn from each other. Let's build a circle of care, right here, together. And if this video helped you, if even one part of it made you pause and think, please give it a like, and subscribe to Seniors Care. This channel exists to serve families like yours. People who are trying their best to support those they love, even when it's hard. Even when it's quiet. Even when no one else sees the effort. We see it. And we're here for you. So, until next time. Keep your heart open. Keep your mind informed. And above all, keep your loved ones strong. You're doing better than you think. We'll see you in the next video.